Hello. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a great day. We almost had to postpone this morning because we lost our electricity earlier today, around 9 a.m. But it's back on now, and the skies are blue, and that's Kentucky weather for you. Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. I forgot that I didn't have my microphone turned on my laptop. So sorry about that. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Gretchen. That gave everybody a little while to pop on and say hello. So yeah, that was on me. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm so glad y'all are here today. I taught this lost sheep class. So if this looks familiar to you, I actually taught this project last year. In a Facebook group, in a free group. And it's such a cute, fun little project. It's a great way to get your feet wet with glass and resin. I almost said you get a little taste of glass and resin, but when I type that out, it says taste of glass. And I don't want anybody tasting glass. So you get your feet wet with glass and resin. Hi there. Hello. I see so many familiar names. I'm so glad y'all are here. So we're going to create this little project again. And if you're new to glass and resin, like I said, this is a great project to get your feet wet. And then I'm going to show you a little variation of it as well. So let's just get started. I don't want to take too much time talking. Let me make that the big picture. Sorry, my nose is itching. Also, Kentucky weather, right? Kentucky allergies. It's so fun. All right, so I'm going to provide a supply list and a template after this video is over. I have it ready to go. I just wanted to make sure that everything that I use, sometimes I'll pick up something and go, oh, I want to use this instead, or I like this color a little bit better. So I didn't want to give you the supply list before we got started in case we wanted to add things. Well, hello. I'm so glad you're here. Hello from the UK. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to the UK in a couple of days. Actually, a week from today. I'll be in Scotland for a couple of weeks visiting our son. I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So we're right about an hour north of Nashville. Yeah. All right. So let's get started. So you can use any kind of wood for this project. I have a great big piece of wood, like a just left over from a pallet that we broke down. It's not very thick, and it's just reused, reclaimed wood. Okay. You just want to make sure you get all the dust, and if there's any cobwebs or anything on it, you want to make sure you do that. Oh, you're going to love it. It's so much fun. So you could use a piece like that, or you could use a smaller piece. This is, again, reclaimed wood. It's funny how pallets, the different wood in wooden pallets is so different. But you can also just pick up a little blank surface. This one I picked up at Walmart yesterday. I was just looking around. I was like, you know what? That's really accessible for everybody. This was $2.74, I think, at our Walmart. So that's a great project size as well. And I'll put the measurements for what I use in the supply list, and I'll post it here on the page. Okay, just going to take that wrapper off. And for like this particular one, I would probably pull those out. They're just on there with a stapler, or cut them off. I'm going to pull them, which may be really strong on camera here. There we go. Okay, tuck those underneath there, because we're going to pour resin on this, and I wouldn't want resin to get on my rope and make it really stiff. Okay, so if you have a surface that already has white paint on it, or a white chalky finish, you're going to want to paint over that. You can do it really roughly, but you're going to want to paint over that, because sometimes when resin hits the paint that's already on there, it will make it clear, and then it's going to make your surface look really funny. Just trust me on it. I've done this a lot, so trust me on that point. We're going to take some white craft paint, and since I'm going to do two of these projects, we're going to have one with chicks and one with sheep. We're going to go ahead and prep both of our boards. So if you're just using a piece of raw wood, you want to make sure it's dust free. Just dust it off with a paintbrush. And I'm just going to put a rough coat of white on here. I love the nail holes and the imperfections. This one even has a crack in it, which is perfectly fine with me. I love the roughness of this wood and the way you can even see the saw marks in there. I think that's so cool. Something about that with the sparkly glass and the shiny resin just really appeals to me. I'm going to need more paint than that. Again, this is just white craft paint. You can use your more expensive paints if you have artist acrylics paint. But let's see, what's the question here? Which paint do you use that doesn't yellow? Well, as long as you keep your resined project out of direct sunlight, it probably won't yellow at all. And especially if you use art resin. However, the art resin people say that if you let your white paint dry for 24 hours or more before you pour resin on it, it's less likely to yellow. You can also seal your paint with a UV acrylic sealer before you pour resin. I'm not going to do either one of those today because I have not really had that much of a problem with my white paint yellowing. So that's kind of my take on that. Okay, so this is the one that was already painted. I'm just going to give it a rough coat as well, because I know for a fact that this chalky finish usually will disappear once resin's poured on it. Well, hello there. I love seeing all these familiar names. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here. Everybody getting ready for spring and Easter, and it's just such a good time to do a project like this. These would make, somebody mentioned they were going to make these for Sunday school teachers, and I thought that was such a great idea. We always have so much going on at church this time of year. They stay busy, and that's a nice way to thank them. Okay, so we've got our white rough base on here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take this is a 1-inch brush. Actually, I'm going to use this one because I like it better. How about that? Y'all have favorite brushes too, right? You can tell I like this one a lot. I've used it a lot. Okay, I'm going to get some green paint. This color is called basil green, but honestly, any green that you have is going to work. I like to go with like a lighter kind of a spring green color. And I'm going to just do about 1/3 of the bottom of this board with my spring green. And this does not have to be perfect. The name of the color, hold on, let me get that again, is basil green. I'll make sure that's in the supply list. And you might want to paint down on your sides a little bit, especially if you're going to be hanging this up or not framing it, which most of you probably wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I think it's kind of cute, just the board like that. Go ahead and paint your land on here, and I'm going to do the same thing with both of these. We're going to do these at the same time. Whoop. Slide this down a little bit so you can get the whole thing in the picture. You took off work, Lisa. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. That is great. Hey, this is a good reason to take off work. This doesn't happen very often, although I'm going to try to do it more often. Go live on here because it's fun, and I get to meet new people and get more people addicted to glass art. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is take just a light blue. We're going to do our sky. This would be so simple and so easy to do with kids because your painting part is not very complicated. But if you're like me and your kids are grown, it's a great project for you to do for yourself. Now, I'm going to lighten this blue up just a little bit. What was the name of that blue? I think it was sky blue. Oh, baby blue. But see, it's not inexpensive paint here. We're not using the good stuff on here. You could, but you don't have to. And I'm just going to give this a rough coat of blue. Now, I know you all, if you are a Bible reader or a church attender, you know the parable of the lost sheep. And I love, love, love the parable of the lost sheep. I wish I had it in front of me to read, but I'm painting. Go look it up. It's in 2 different gospel accounts, so it's not hard to find if you don't know it. But the story is that the shepherd left 99 sheep to go find the one that had wandered off. And who do you think that one represents? It's me. It's you. We'll have to go find that one sheep. Okay, so we've got our background painted. I have a lot of extra paint. I don't waste this. I paint something else because I don't like to waste my paint. But all right, now we're going to get a little more white and we're going to paint some sheep. Okay, so my imagery for this are these naughty little sheep, but they're all confused. They're waiting there and they're asking the shepherd, why are you leaving all of us to go find the one? I don't understand. Okay. So we're going to paint some sheep, but they're cute. They're cute little sheep. I love that parable too, Cindy. Okay. So part of their body is going to be down here in the grass. And then part of it's going to be up here. And it's almost like you're painting a snowman and then you're going to connect them. So you're making kind of ovally rounded shapes. And you can make ones that are like me, that are a little bit shorter and rounder. And you can make some really tall ones that are more like my kids. They're taller. And you can make some in-between ones. How many are we going to make? We're not going to make 99, but we'll make a few. We'll make a few. And these don't have to be, we'll make this one kind of looking off to the side. When we did this last year, some of the people made them facing the other direction, which I thought was really cute too. So they're all kind of like snowmen, right? Oh, Greta, you did. You knew my mom and dad. He knew my mom. Oh, that's so cool. What a small world. Well, I'm glad you're joining us. I think my mom's probably watching. Maybe. She usually tries to. Okay, look how cute they are, y'all. Can you already see their personalities? I can. Okay, I'm going to take some black paint. That's one other color that you might need. Take some black paint and I'm going to make some little legs. If I can get my black paint open. Here we go. I didn't have my black up here. I'm going to make some little legs. I'm just going to use a skinny brush for this, but I mean, you could use anything. You could even use a paint pen if you wanted to. I'm just going to do two. Kind of close together because they'll be right in front of each other, right? Their legs. I think that sheep, well, my mom collects sheep, so she has a lot, not real sheep. She collects, pictures of sheep and paintings of sheep and figurines and stuffed sheep and all kinds of sheep. Here we go. So she's always loved sheep. Yes, they're just like us. Some of them are looking the wrong way. Okay, so you're going to let this dry. If you're at home, you're going to let this dry. The thing that we're going to use to create our sheep are these glass mosaic pebbles, glass pebbles. And you can find these at Hobby Lobby. This week, they're actually on sale 40% off. So if you get over there before tomorrow night, you get them for 40% off. But they're only $5 for a big bag. And this bag would do more than one project. Actually, I buy these a lot when they're on sale. So I have containers like this of them. But that's what they are. They're this, mosaic accents. And I'm going to make a little pile of sheep fur on here. Now, again, at home, let this dry first. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't put your glass on wet paint because if you get it in the wrong place, then you're going to move your paint around and it's just kind of messy. There's something with some orange on it there. Can you see the sheep though? I think these are just the cutest. We did some at Christmas time in my glass group. I have a glass makers membership group where I teach one project a week in there. and with supply lists and templates and everything. And at Christmas time, we did the cutest little sheep that were kind of like this, and they had wreaths around their neck. You could do those on ornaments. You could do this kind of sheep on an ornament too. Be really cute. I'm about to go see those sheep in Scotland. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Those sheep over there are just, oh, watching them out in the fields. They're everywhere. So who's on here in the UK? What are they called again? Oh, Arlene is on here from the UK. They're mosaic accent glass pebbles. So they're little glass balls. Little glass, they're different shape, which you could use. I mean, there's all kinds of different products out there that are glass beads, that are little rocks. They almost look like aquarium rocks. And I have some of those that would work out just fine too. They're not as smooth, but they would still work for sure. Where in the UK are you, Arlene? I'm just curious. I think Amazon probably has them as well. Okay. Thank you. We'd have so much fun in that group, don't we? A lot of these ladies. Okay. A lot of these people on here in my group. So, there we go. All right. Look at all our little sheep. They're so cute. If you cover the question is, if you cover the whole shape with pebbles, is it necessary to paint them white? Let me lift this up so you can kind of see. If you look down in between there, you can still see some of the white paint underneath. So if you didn't paint underneath it white, you would want to make sure that you covered all of it white. Otherwise, you would see green. I'll show you here a little bit closer. Otherwise, you would see green, in that space. So if you want to take a little more time and make sure it's all covered, then you don't have to worry about it. But I'm a quick artist. I like to move quickly, so I take my help where I can get it. Okay, let's move on to their faces. I have some black sheet glass. Now I get this at Hobby Lobby as well, or you can get it at any kind of like glass hobby shop, whatever. You can get it on Amazon. But you can also find black vases and black plates, and Hendrick's gin comes in a blackish bottle. So you could use a Hendrick's gin bottle. There's all kinds of black glass out there. I just use the sheet glass because sometimes it's easier, but I'll show you how you would do this. These are called nippers, and you can get these from Amazon as well, or from Floor and Decor More, or from Hobby Lobby, or Glass Supply hobby shops. And what you want to do is find where you want to break your glass. We're going to make some shapes that are kind of a rounded triangle. So you want to find where you're going to break your glass like this. But then when you go to break it, you want to flip it over so that these screws are facing the ceiling. Okay. And then you squeeze and the piece of glass drops. Okay. If you did it like this, then the glass would kind of shoot up from the side over here, and we don't want that. So we're going to do it like this. And once you get a few pieces, you can start to cut them down into the shape that you want. I usually cut over a bin, like a cake pan or something like that, or a bowl. And once you have your shape of your face, you can just kind of set it on there. I want that one to be a little bit smaller. So I do it like that. I'm just going to kind of round around these edges, just nip away till I get the shape I want. There we go. That's a cute little shape. So then we have a face, and then I'm going to have a couple of ears, right? So let's give them a couple of ears. Here's one. Here's another one. There we go. Now we have our ears. Let's do a few more. I know, aren't they cute? Yes, eyes to the sky. That's right. Your eyes point to the sky. Your eyes pointed up. These nippers are Goldblatt nippers. And I'll, when I post that supply list, I'll post a link to my Amazon store so you can see. You don't need to purchase necessarily from the Amazon store, of course, but so you can see what they look like and kind of a general cost so that if you want to buy them locally, you can. Okay, this guy right here, he's a little baby one. He's a little short one. We'll make a couple of ears for him. Oh, put it over here. There we go. Where did that other little piece go? Just use this one. Well, thank you, Shelly. That's so kind. So nice. There we go. And I have some different glass that is that has a texture on it. Sometimes when you go buy sheet glass for stained glass, you'll find some that has a texture on it, and that would be really cute to use. You could use a dark brown if you couldn't find a black, but black glass is getting easier to find, I think. All these little balls are rolling around. Kind of want to nestle that down in there a little bit. There we go. You can look off to the side. I'll give him some ears. These little triangle pieces. You know what surprised me about sheep when I saw a lot of them in person was actually how big their tails are. Blew my mind. I had no idea that their tails were that long. I thought they were just like a little ball, but their tails are like pretty significant. At least the sheep that I've been up close with. That all varieties might not be the same. Do I ever cut myself? You know what? I have a very healthy respect for glass, and I think as long as you don't try to like poke yourself with it, you're gonna be okay. I really have not, knock on wood, the things that will cut you are these little bitty pieces that are down here. So I just kind of keep a brush. Let's see. I usually keep a brush. Keep a brush, and you can just kind of scooch that stuff out of the way so you don't lay your hand in it. And I save all these little pieces and use them for confetti. I call it confetti. It's dangerous confetti, but I use it to like put sprinkles around things, make my crowd for the Kentucky Derby pieces I make, things like that. Let's see. These guys are getting some personality. Oh, some farmers dock sheep tails. Well, I didn't know that. That makes sense. Did they used to do it more than they do now? Because it seems to me like when I was a little girl, I just thought that, of course, I wasn't around sheep growing up, but I just thought that their tails were short little balls. Okay, this guy's talking to his neighbor over here. He's like, "Why do you think the shepherd left? I don't understand. We're all right here. Pay attention to us, dude." Make my own stories here. I mean, yeah, I thought their tails were little balls. I think that's what we learned in like nursery school, maybe. I don't know, but they're really long. I guess if they're not docked, which would make sense that, maybe back then they docked them a lot more frequently or more You hear the glass flying around here. It keeps them cleaner and makes it easier for Rhonda, you know a lot about sheep. I'm super impressed. That is amazing. Who knew? Well, you knew, but I didn't know. So, could you show us their faces closer? Absolutely. I'm going to lift this up so y'all can see what's going on here. And you can make these ears rounded if you want to, because their ears are pretty rounded too and kind of flop down. But not this guy. He's listening. He wants to know what's going on. He's nosy. Oh, your husband used to raise them. Well, there you go. You've got good information. You've got firsthand information. That's awesome. Okay. Let me come in a little bit closer so you can really see what's going on. We've got a little bit of glare here. Slide this down. There are their little faces. So they're all different. The glare's kind of messing with this, but they're all different little shapes. Yes, Arlene, it is very easy for a beginner. There are a lot of people that are on this live right now that started out having absolutely no idea. Oh, Shelly, because you're watching on YouTube. A lot of people are watching from Facebook. I'm streaming into 2 different places. So that's why you're only seeing your comments. Yeah, I know that's confusing because I've done that before. What did I use for the body? I used glass pebbles, mosaic accents is what they're called. Rima, I got those at Hobby Lobby. They're called mosaic. Look at this guy. He's got a little face. Oh, I think it's cute. His body's a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's this product right here. Yep, you're welcome. So yes, absolutely, this is easy for a beginner. We all started as a beginner, and in my group, I have like a glass collage basics class. Thank you, Pam. A glass collage basics class that's included when you sign up for my group. And it kind of goes through everything, like even where to find glass, what kind of glass works best, that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's all kinds of resources in my group. Okay, so one more thing we can do to this. Oh, good, Shelly. Okay, you found us. We were all beginners, weren't we? All right. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Let me grab my little dustpan thing here and get some of this stuff out of the way. So I still want to add a little bit more here. I don't know if you all saw my sample picture, but I added a little bit of grass down below. You wouldn't have to do this, but I think it's kind of fun. So I like to take Ziploc, these kind of thicker Ziploc bags. You could use a regular food storage bag. Yeah, we were all beginners once. And I'm going to put a little bit of this glass in here. Now, this glass I get at Michael's, but they also have this glass on Amazon. Sometimes you can get it at IKEA, depending on if you're lucky enough to live near an IKEA. Thank you. I know it is fun to learn something new. So I put the glass in here, and then I'm going to put just a tiny, tiny bit of green paint. So I still have my paint over here on my palette. I mean, I'm going to put a really, really small amount down in there. Maybe a little bit more than that. So I've got my green paint down in here, and I'm going to shake this up and get that green paint on that glass. The paint was kind of thick, so I might need more. But I'm coloring my glass with my green paint so that I can add some down here to the grass area. The IKEA black and red run through. Do they really? I didn't know that. It's been so long since I've been able to get any IKEA. I had no idea. That's where I saw it the very first time before Michael started carrying it was at IKEA. All right, let's see if that's enough. Because you don't want to put too much paint on there because you don't want it to dull that sparkle. I'm going to show you a different technique with the alcohol ink here in a second. I'll put some in this little bowl here so you can see it a little better. See, it still has plenty of sparkle, but it's the color of this grass now. So I'm going to sprinkle some down along here just to put a little bit of texture down in that grass. This was not necessary, but I love to add sparkle anywhere I can. And anytime you make texture on your surface after you pour resin on it, it just makes it that much prettier. So what is the glass called on Amazon? I can't remember the name of it, but I have a link for it. It is crushed. Does anybody remember crushed mirror glass? Vase filler, crushed vase filler mirror glass or something. It's in my Amazon affiliate store, and I'll post a link to that just so you can see what the name of it is. And there we go. We've got a cute little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sheep. We could have done that big long one. We might have been able to get 99 on there. Yeah, you can literally make it any color you need or want. It comes in a variety of colors at Michael's, but and I buy it when it's on sale and fill up these containers and keep it. Yep. So you can literally color it any color. So I always buy the silver. And let me sweep some more of this glass up so I don't injure myself. After I said I usually don't get hurt. I wouldn't want to do that. Okay, let's move on to our chickens. So I follow this lady. Her name is Sarah Elizabeth, which is my sister's name and my name together. And she has chickens. And she said when she was younger, and she always wanted to have chickens when she got married, grew up, whatever. She said when she was younger, she wanted to name her chickens Surely, Goodness, and Mercy. And so I thought that would be so cute to have Surely, Goodness, and Mercy, because you know how chickens are. They follow you around everywhere. And she said, I always wanted to say Surely, Goodness, and Mercy can follow me all the days of my life. So I thought that was so cute, and I wanted to do some chickens. So another good spring seasonal fun art piece. So we've got our base here, and I'm going to use these again. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle some of these in a bag, and we're going to turn these yellow for our chickens. You could use yellow paint to color your glass, or you can use alcohol ink. This is Ranger alcohol ink. The only thing with the alcohol ink is that you want to make sure it dries before you pour resin on it. You want to make sure that this sits maybe 24 hours. You want it to sit for a while before you pour resin. I'm breaking the rules today because I want to complete these projects while you all are on here. So we're not going to come back after 24 hours. We're just going to resin today. But just to let you know, you want to let this dry first for a little while. Oh, a friend of yours named her goat Surely, Goodness, and Mercy. I love it. That's awesome. I had never heard anybody say that before, and I thought that was so cute. So I'm going to put some alcohol ink in here. Our baby chicks are going to be yellow. This is the Dijon color. There's probably a yellow that's a little more of a bright yellow, but yes, thank you so much, Shelly. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you. Okay, there we've got. That's pretty bright. That is pretty bright. So I'm gonna pour that onto. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw a paper towel in here. Have y'all ever done that? Has anybody that's done this before ever done that? To soak up some of the extra alcohol ink. When I've over inked some glass, I've thrown in some extra paper towel, and that just kind of gets some of that ink off there. One drop probably would have done it, but I was talking. Oh, this is what you do too. All right. Well, then I know that it's probably a good technique if somebody else does it. I was talking and not paying attention, so I put a little more alcohol ink in there than I needed. But I'm just going to get some of that off on that paper towel. If you just did one drop, you'd be just fine. You do it with parsley. That's so smart. Get all that moisture off there. Okay. So now I probably took off too much. Let's see. Yep. All right. Back to one drop. I know the baggie's really helpful. Oh, shoot. First time I did it, I called it shake and bake. Which, if you're of a certain generation, you get that reference. But my kids didn't know what shake and bake was. Okay. They just knew it from Talladega Nights, you know, that movie. All right. There we go. There's some baby chicks. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing and paint some base on here because, again, if it's going to show through underneath, I want it to show yellow and not blue and green. Okay. So I'm going to do these kind of big. So we'll just have 3 on here. You could do little ones if you wanted to, but I'm going to do these kind of big. Let me add a little bit of white to that. If your paint is too transparent like that is, which it really doesn't matter since it's underneath, but I'm going to make that a little bit, add a little white to that. It makes it a little more opaque. 1, 2, shake and bake. I know, it's so easy, isn't it? I know. The kids don't really get that reference. Is it still in the stores? I don't know if they even still make it, do they? Is this a regular paint of wood you were painting on? This wood, yes, this is, do you mean a regular piece of wood? This wood came from Walmart. I couldn't think of the name. Came from Walmart. Okay, we're going to make our little chicken heads. These are a lot bigger, but you could make a whole bunch of little ones. Would be really cute too. I'll probably give this to the lady that gives me eggs every week, who I adore, because I don't want chickens, but I love fresh eggs. Okay, so it's the same kind of shape. I don't know if that's really what it's supposed to be, but that's what I did. The same kind of shape. So you got a big ball and a little ball, and you just kind of connect them together. That's what we're doing anyway. Okay. Now I need a little bit of orange, just a smidge of orange, which is right here. They do still make shake and bake. That's so funny. I didn't know that. Looks like they do. That is so funny. Okay, let's give our baby chicks some feet. We're gonna make them a little feet here. Little feet. Are they called feet? I guess they are chicken feet. Yeah. Okay. They're not called oh shoot. What am I thinking of? No, they're feet. Sorry. I had a momentary lapse of judgment, of thought. That never happens to y'all, does it? Happens to me all the time, especially when I'm on a Facebook Live. Okay, there we go. Cute little chickies. All right. Let's give them some beaks. Claws. That's what I was thinking. Claws. Thanks, Pam. All right. Do we want this more yellow? I feel like that needs to be more yellow. Maybe I'll put it back in here after I took all that yellow off. See the difference? I don't know. Let's give it a little more yellow. I could do it with paint, like I said, but claws. That's the other word I was thinking of, really. Okay. A little more yellow. I like using alcohol ink because with paint, it is definitely more opaque. So you don't get the color of whatever it is to come through as much, kind of like we did on that green. But I mean, it's still really cute. It still looks good. It's just not as sheer, I guess. Not as transparent. Oh, y'all, these are cute. Eee, and some baby chicks. I would like baby chicks. I just wouldn't want chickens. You down here have chickens? Oh my gosh. When you taught kindergarten, you did a chick unit in the spring and you hatched chicks. Oh, how fun. Wow, you're a good teacher. They don't make as many like you anymore. That's awesome. No, there are really good teachers out there that, oh my gosh, my kids had some of the best. But that's so fun. That's such a fun project. Oh, you have a board like that and been wondering what to put on it. This one I bought yesterday when I was running into Walmart. I wanted to find something that, people could buy because not everybody's going to break up a wood pallet or whatever, right? But it was like $2, $2.74, I think is what it was. So almost $3, but what a deal. Now you're going to let your feed and your paint underneath, you're going to let all that stuff dry. You're not going to do like me. Okay. Because like that one just rolled through the legs and now it has orange all over it. So surely goodness and mercy here are yellow and we don't want orange all over them. Y'all, these are so cute. So one bag of that, those glass pebbles would make a lot of these. Okay. So cute. A little bit of yellow paint on there. Okay. Now we're going to get some orange glass to make some beaks. And I'm going to show you what my orange bin looks like. You can get orange sheet glass. You asking where I found the boards at Walmart? They were with the craft supplies. You can get orange sheet glass or you can collect orange glass like I do. The thing with this is it's not going to be usually as opaque. Thank you, Marla. It's not going to be as opaque as orange sheet glass. This is orange sheet glass. This is like an orange base or whatever. And I'll show you the difference. I'm going to cut a little piece off for a beak. Cut a little piece off for a beak of that one and cut a little piece off for a beak of this one. And I'll kind of show you the difference here. When we talk about the opacity, why that's kind of important. Because here we have our little beak for this guy. Oh. And then if you wanted to use this for a beak, you would have that. So this one, see, it's showing through. It's showing the color through, and this one, it's more solid, so you don't see the stuff in the background. So I prefer this one for this project, but for a lot of projects, I prefer a more opaque, a more transparent color. So it just depends on what you're doing. You could always, if you had something like this, you could always take a brush and paint the back of it like that. And then you end up with one that is opaque. Let's see, how do I want to set that on there? I think maybe off to the side, like here. There we go. Which one's Shirley? That's the one I want to know. Shirley's probably a lot of fun. It's so fun to move things around on these, like they're like for the sheep, their faces and their little ears, or like for these, their little beaks, and get a completely different personality when you do that. I think that's so cute. I love it. If we wanted a chick that was like looking forward, his beak's going to be a little bit different. The beak shape is going to be more like like this, more like a diamond shape, right? If they're looking forward. So let's see. So he's going to be looking forward, and these two are kind of looking at each other. Y'all, these are adorable. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but goodness gracious, so cute. Here, we'll put a little bit of green glass down on these too. Although they probably need a little bit of sand or rocks or something like that, but we'll pretend they're out here in the grass. These are free range chicks. She probably hears, and don't call me Shirley. Exactly. That's one of our favorite movies, Airplane. Stop calling me Shirley. Probably so. Should we give them some eyes? Now, one thing you can do for eyes is you can take these and you can paint them black, run them through some black paint and paint them black. Or they also, let me grab something. I think they also make them black. Yeah, you can buy them in those bags just like the white ones. But if you just wanted to buy one color, you could also buy them black. This might be a little bit tedious. So I'm going to get out my handy dandy tweezers there. And give them some little bitty eyes. Little bitty beady eyes. Get some small ones. We don't want the eyes to be huge. Although you might want a big eye like that one. But I kind of like the little ones. Thank you, Rhonda. I think they're cute too. Okay. I thought this would take about an hour and we're almost there. So let me move this stuff out of the way. Let's see. So when you get ready to resin, you want to make sure that your work surface is covered in plastic, a drop cloth, a trash bag, something like that. A clean, unopened trash bag, preferably plastic tablecloth, whatever. And you also want to make sure that they are well fed, aren't they? They're chunky. You also want to make sure that your space you're pouring in a place that your project can be left to dry for at least 24 hours. It'll be dry to the touch in about 12, but things could still stick in it. It could still get a hair or something like that in it. So you want to make sure. I'm adding a few little, where I see little holes, adding a few of those little circles, the little balls. Okay. And then we have our sheet. These are just plastic cups, and I'm using this to elevate the board, because when we pour resin on it, the resin's going to like fall off the sides, right? If you had a board with a frame on it, you would still want to elevate it, because resin's going to seek the path of least resistance. So it'll fall down in between the frame and the board sometimes. So you just want to make sure that you give it enough space to roll down the sides and spread out. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I buy my art resin in huge containers, but you can get it in little tiny bottles like this. This is 8 ounces total, 4 ounces and 4 ounces. When you mix it together, this will make 8 ounces. And I have these that I'm selling at a discount. They're going to be on my website this afternoon. So if you're signed up for my email list, check your emails. Make sure you get an email from me this afternoon. It's going to have a link to this video and a link to purchase art resin. It's going to have, again, the template and the supply list and a link to my Amazon affiliate store. So if you want to see the projects, the things that I purchased, you can look at them there. Yeah, art resin is the best. It's the only resin that I use. I love it. It has no odor really, so has no VOCs and no odor. And but you can look at all the information about it at artresin.com. Oh, I do need to do a couple of little calves. I grew up on a beef cattle farm. We had polled Herefords. We had 500 head of cattle, I think, when I was growing up. And they were in our backyard all the time, and I loved it. We love cows, especially red polled Herefords, red and white ones. I should do that. My mom would love to have that. Okay, so we're going to use art resin. There is an art resin calculator on Art Resin's website, and you can go on there and type in how many inches your board is, and it'll tell you how much art resin you're going to need. Okay, so if that's something that you want to do, that's a great tool to use. And then what else do I want to tell you? You want to make sure that everything is completely dry. Now, my stuff is not completely dry, but for the sake of time, I'm going to show you how to do this. This one is the only one I'm worried about. This one is probably going to be okay, but I can still see the stuff down here. Yes, Cheryl. So the resin that they make now is completely safe. It has no fumes. You can use it indoors. It works in molds. There's all kinds of information on artresin.com about it, how thick you can pour it, and what you can use it for, and what it's not good for. But yeah, this is a great product. I have asthma, and I've used it inside for years, and it does not bother my asthma at all. Okay, so you want to measure out equal quantities. And so I have 3 ounces. This is going to be more than I need, but I've got other projects over here that I can use it on. So, Rhonda, I share all that stuff in my group, in my Facebook group that I have that actually, okay, hold on a second. I'll tell you all about it while I'm stirring. Okay, so 3 ounces and 3 ounces is what I'm doing today. So I like to use these graduated measuring cups. So I have, and you do it by volume, not by weight. Let's set this down here and just kind of scrape out. Let's see. I kind of want this to be in the camera. Let's see if I can tilt this a little bit so you can see. I don't know. I'm just scraping out of one container into the other. It's not, just to make sure I get all of the 3 ounces out of one into the other container with 3 ounces. This is way more than I'm going to need. But hold on just a second. Okay. So then you have the 2 parts combined. And then you're going to stir slowly but thoroughly, scraping the sides and lifting up from the bottom as you stir. And you're going to set a timer. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes. There you go. Sorry if I turned on your all Alexas. So you're going to stir slowly but thoroughly. I scrape the sides. I love these little cups. These are also in my Amazon store because they can get down to really small amounts. So if you only want to mix 2 ounces, you can see how much, it's a lot easier. Now, wait a minute. Oh, Cynthia, I'm so glad. If you were just doing these 2, how much would you suggest mixing? You know what? I'll show you. Let me finish this and then we'll see how much I used. There are going to be some variations. If your wood is really, really thirsty, sometimes it'll soak up some of the resin more than others. If you used more glass or more of the pebbles or whatever, then you're going to have a little more surface area to cover. If you, let's see, if you pour heavy, meaning you pour some and a lot gets on your table, you waste a little bit, which I did in the beginning a lot. We all do. And there's always going to be some waste, then you're going to need more. So it kind of varies, but for the most part, I'll give you an estimate for these 2 sizes. Are they different types of resin that I combined? Yes. So one's a resin and one is a hardener. Whoops. And once they're mixed, you have to use them within 30 minutes. So yes, the cups are disposable, but sometimes I'm able to reuse them. And they do make silicone cups that are not disposable that you can use. So, but I can use these over and over again. You can't find how to get on my email list. It's on my website. I don't think, maybe I can post it on here. Hold on. Let me pull up. Be patient with me for 1 second. I'm going to keep stirring while I'm talking. So at the bottom of this page, if you go to my website, there we go. If you go to my website, there's the link to join my group. And there is a space at the bottom, contact me or stay in touch or something like that. I can't remember what it says, but you can sign up for my email list there. Yes, keep molds handy in case you have a little extra always, or extra projects sitting around. But molds are great to keep around. I also have little things like ornaments or things that I just make with leftover stuff, and then I have those sitting around for anything that's left over. Is it best to seal the planks of wood before painting so the resin doesn't get absorbed? You can do that. You can seal it with a spray sealer, like a UV spray sealer, but oftentimes if the wood has any kind of paint on it, it won't absorb it. Alexa, stop. So the times that it gets absorbed into the wood is if there's no paint on it. These will be fine. These probably won't absorb any, but I'm going to start this for just a minute longer because I've been talking a lot. And I know I've missed some questions. And if I missed your question, I'm going to go back after this video's over and make sure I've answered each of them in the video, because I don't want to leave anybody out if you have questions. And if you watch this again, which I hope you do, you can ask away and I'll go back and check for more questions as the days ahead. And you can always email me or send me a message. Well, I'm sorry, I hit the camera. Okay. I'm going to come in a little bit closer so that you can see here how I do this. I start with the pieces of glass that are highest first. And in this kind of project, it's probably not going to make that much difference, but I'm just scraping the sides one more time and getting the bottom, because you really do want to make sure you're mixed thoroughly, but you don't want to whip it. You don't want to like mix it really, really fast, because you'll get micro bubbles. See how there's a few bubbles in there? If I mixed it too fast, it would become like a milky color. It would be like a milky consistency. So am I going to do a live class for Derby? Probably not, but I do have a Derby. I mean, that's a huge project. So I do have a Derby class, Churchill Downs class, in my membership group that you can watch. It's two different parts with templates and supplies and everything. So that's a little bit bigger project. Okay. So I'm going to use my stick to drizzle resin on top of this glass. And I'm going to start with the glass that's at the highest first. If I started with just the board that doesn't have any glass on it, then I would waste a lot of resin, because what I'm doing is trying to take advantage of the resin that's draining down. I like to call it the mountains. So I start with the mountains first, and then it drains down into the valleys and covers a lot of area that way. Art resin's about the consistency of corn syrup. So if you can think about if you pour corn syrup on it, how it would behave, that's kind of the same thing, but you want to make sure that everything is covered. Make sure it's all covered. Even these little grass pieces down here. And the resin holds everything on there. So you don't have to worry about glue or anything. Now, sometimes you might end up with a little piece of glass or something that doesn't want to stay in place, and you can use Elmer's glue or hot glue, anything that dries clear, to hold the glass in place temporarily. You want to make sure it's dry, of course, before you pour resin, but then, have it hold it there temporarily until you're ready to pour resin on it. Oh, you thought the black glass flipped. Oh, is it the reflection? It's probably the reflection. It's hard. It's hard to see. So anyway, I usually don't open my group, but a few times a year. But right now I opened it for this class. Anybody that wants to join could join. You don't have to have any prior experience. Like I said, there's a glass collage basics class, kind of a 1-hour crash course class to kind of teach you most of what you need to know, more than what you learned here today. We have a Facebook group that you join where all the classes will be. We have a website that is populating with all of the videos. And let's see, there are templates and supply lists for every project. We have almost 200 projects in there right now. So when you join, you got access to all of those right away. Okay, I'm going to let that set for a minute. See over here where it's not fully covered. As the resin kind of settles in, it's going to spread it. This right here is already starting to spread. Do you see that? And kind of connect those little spots. Let's go up here and do our chicks. Did I say I have a challenge coming up? No. No, I didn't. Check the left ear on the third lamb. 1, 2, 3, right here or from this side? Oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wait, that wasn't the third one. Oh, where it's flipped up? Yeah, I wanted it poked up. We'll go back and look at it in just a minute. You can keep maneuvering things and moving stuff around up until the resin starts to cure. So for 30 minutes, you can kind of manipulate things and move stuff around if you need to. It ain't over until the resin is cured. You know, at this point, well, before I started putting this on here, I could dump everything off and start over again if I wanted to. So, yeah. Okay, so my group, somebody asked about that. My group, it's $29 a month or $290 for the year. So if you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. And it's a recurring payment thing. So you can cancel at any time. As long as you cancel before the next billing cycle, you can cancel at any time. And like I said, you get access to almost 200 project lessons right off the bat, and then new ones every week. So we have a lot of fun in there. I'm using more resin than I thought I would on this project, but I think it's because I might have overpoured on that one because I was talking so much. Imagine that. I love to talk though. That's the thing I always got in trouble for at school, was talking too much. Imagine that. It probably doesn't surprise anybody that knows me. And then you marry somebody that doesn't talk. Yes, Sharon, you can. You can add more glass pieces on top and then cover with another coat of resin. Absolutely. Oh, before the resin sets up. Yeah, like right now, if I wanted to do it right now, absolutely. Yep. Do I worry about the drips that show up on the back after drying? I just kind of count that as part of the process. But if I'm selling my piece, if I'm keeping it for myself, I leave the drips. If I'm selling my piece, I sand it off the back. So once it's cured, you can use a sander and just sand them off. You could also tape off the back of your piece with painter's tape and then peel the painter's tape off like tomorrow morning. So, oh, thank you so much, Jane. Yes, Julie, you can watch this later. Absolutely. It'll live here on my page for as long as they let me have a Facebook page. Yeah, it'll live here on the page under videos. I've got lots of videos that are free on this page as well. So if you're looking for projects and you're not ready to join the group yet, there are a lot of projects actually on my page. Some of them are from several years ago, but they're on here. If you just look under videos. I'm just going to make sure everything is covered here. Okay, let's go back to the sheep up here. Thank you, Rhonda. Have you ever taught any beach scenes or waves? Oh, yes. In my group, we do a lot of beach scenes. We've done a lot of those. Free on my page. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I cannot remember. I'd have to go look. Okay, so I'm just going to take my gloved finger. That paint is on my finger, not on the glove. And I'm going to smooth out some of this resin that's up here. And you can even take your finger and go along the edge if you want your resin on the edge and kind of smooth that out as well, where it's dripped down. Now, it'll continue to drip for a while. So just because you've wiped all the drips off doesn't mean that they're not coming back. This needs a little more resin here. But to answer your question, if I wanted to add I didn't like where that ear was. If I wanted to add some more glass to this, absolutely, I could do that right now. Just roll it around. Look, well, no, I don't have any to add. Just roll it around in the resin, and it would be just fine. Now this board was kind of cupped because it is reclaimed wood from a pallet. So it's kind of pooling there in the middle. So I'm just kind of pushing some of that out so that it doesn't get too thick right there in the middle and just kind of bury everybody's ears. Oop. Oh my gosh, I love this one. I love Surely Goodness and Mercy too, though. When does my group close? I'm going to close it on Sunday. I'll give everybody that's watched this video over the weekend or whatever a little time and check off my waiting list. I've got a waiting list of people that have been waiting to get in, and then we will we'll close it on Sunday night. So if you want to get in, now's the time. We've got a lot of fun projects coming up. We've got some guest artists too that are going to be here this month. Or April, because I will be out of the country for a little bit. But like I said, you know, we're always doing new projects in there every week. So do you get the colored glass sheets from Amazon? You can get them from Amazon. You can get them from glass supply hobby shops, stained glass shops. You can get I get mine at Hobby Lobby, which is a local craft store here. But there are all kinds of places that sell sheet glass, and you can also go to a thrift store. I go to thrift stores all the time to buy glass, and a lot of times people have, you know, broken chandeliers or broken lamps or whatever that have sheet glass in them. A lot of the sheet glass I get is from there too. It's already broken up some, but you only need little pieces of it, you know. A lot of that depends on where. Yes. Oh, you asking how much do you sell? I can't, I'm trying to see, Pam, what you're answering. I'll have to go back and look at all these questions. But anyway, so you're going to leave this to dry. I always pour my resin at the end of the day, and then I leave my studio and shut the door. And I know not everybody has that ability to do that, but you need to put it somewhere where little hands and dust and dog hair and pet hairs aren't going to get in it. So, or smaller pieces like this, you could take like a plastic tote that's empty and flip it over upside down so that you have like a cover for these little pieces. Some people use those picnic covers, you know, that you can get at the Dollar Tree to cover. There are all kinds of things you can use to keep the dust and lint out of your pieces if you've got to have them in a part of your house that's not closed off. So, but that is what you want to do. Oh, and kind of, you know, try to make sure that your table is level. This one is level, but the back of this board is not level because, like I said, it's a piece of pallet wood, but that'll just help to keep the resin from all sliding off on one side. So, oh, one more thing, and you don't have to do this. Art resin is really good about the bubbles coming up to the surface. So this is not necessary. But if you want to, you can take like a little butane torch. This is just a little butane torch, you know, that you fill up with butane, and like a little kitchen torch. And it's got, you know, fire that comes out. And you can just real quick, like go across the top of your resin, and it pops any bubbles. There really aren't any bubbles on this one, but it'll pop any surface bubbles. You don't want to hold it against it because it will burn the resin, but you can just go real quick across the top and pop those bubbles, and the surface is just as clear as glass. So, yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need to do. Oh, Patty, you can definitely do it without question. Without question. It is so much fun. And like I said, I'm going to have these on my website by this evening. And so make sure you're on my email list, and I will send out the link to get these, and another link to this video and all the other stuff you might need. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Arlene. I will enjoy Scotland. We're so excited. So excited to be going back. Hopefully we won't have too much rain. All right. Oh, my website, elizabethroadstudio.com. There we go. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.